Thus it can be said, and has been many times, that my purpose for you is that you should know yourself as me.
Feel free to skip the commentary using the chapters, and remember to check out the previous episodes for full context. You can find the link to the playlist in the description below. To be respectful of your time, let's get straight back into the book.
My divine purpose in dividing me was to create sufficient parts of me so that I could know myself experientially. There is only one way for the Creator to know itself experientially as the Creator, and that is to create. And so I gave to each of the countless parts of me, to all of my spirit children, the same power to create which I have as the whole. This is what your religions mean when they say that you were created in the image and likeness of God. This doesn't mean, as some have suggested, that our physical bodies look alike, although God can adopt whatever physical form God chooses for a particular purpose. It does mean that our essence is the same. We are composed of the same stuff. We are the same stuff, with all the same properties and abilities, including the ability to create physical reality out of thin air. My purpose in creating you, my spiritual offspring, was for me to know myself as God. I have no way to do that save through you. Thus it can be said, and has been many times, that my purpose for you is that you should know yourself as me. This seems so amazingly simple, yet it becomes very complex because there is only one way for you to know yourself as me. And that is for you first to know yourself as not me. Now try to follow this. Fight to keep up because this gets very subtle here. Are you ready?
I think so.
Good. Remember, you've asked for this explanation. You've waited for it for years. You've asked for it in layman's terms, not theological doctrines or scientific theories.
Yes, I know what I've asked.
And having asked, so shall you receive. Now, to keep things simple, I'm going to use your Children of God mythological model as a basis for discussion, because it is a model with which you're very familiar, and in many ways, it is not that far off. So let's go back to how this process of self-knowing must work. There is one way I could have caused all of my spiritual children to know themselves as parts of me, and that was simply to tell them. This I did. But you see, it was not enough for spirit to simply know itself as God, or part of God, or children of God, or inheritors of the kingdom, or whatever mythology you want to use. As I've already explained, knowing something and experiencing it are two different things. Spirit longed to know itself experientially, just as I did. Conceptual awareness was not enough for you. So I devised a plan. It is the most extraordinary idea in all the universe and the most spectacular collaboration. I say collaboration because all of you are in it with me. Under the plan, you as spirit would enter the physical universe just created. This is because physicality is the only way to know experientially what you know conceptually. It is, in fact, the reason I created the physical cosmos to begin with, and the system of relativity which governs it, and all creation. Once in the physical universe, you, my spirit children, could experience what you know of yourself, but first you had to come to know the opposite. To explain this simply, you cannot know yourself as tall unless and until you become aware of short. You cannot experience the part of yourself that you call fat unless you also come to know thin. Taken to ultimate logic, you cannot experience yourself as what you are until you've encountered what you are not. This is the purpose of the theory of relativity and all physical life. It is by that which you are not that you yourself are defined. Now, in the case of the ultimate knowing, in the case of knowing yourself as the creator, you cannot experience yourself as creator unless and until you create. And you cannot create yourself until you uncreate yourself. In a sense, you have to first not be in order to be. Do you follow?
I think.
Stay with it. Of course, there's no way for you to not be who and what you are. You simply are that pure creative spirit. Have been, always, and always will be. So you did the next best thing. You caused yourself to forget who you really are. Upon entering the physical universe, you relinquished your remembrance of yourself. This allows you to choose to be who you are, rather than simply wake up in the castle, so to speak.
We have to forget in order to remember, and we can only find ourselves when we've lost ourselves. Choosing to forget and the idea that we made that choice voluntarily is interesting. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Something feels so much more meaningful when it comes as a surprise. The amount of contrast and struggle we go through makes the reward all that much more sweet. It can also be hard to imagine with the amount of suffering we can experience in life. It's hard to imagine making the decision to put ourselves through this from our current state of being. Yet, our current state of being is not all we are. Through some of my own psychedelic experiences, I've been in realms where there is no time. The absolute and the vastness of being there. Our true nature, something so extremely, infinitely safe, so loving. Imagine knowing that truly nothing could ever hurt you. Imagine knowing the eternal I am on that deep of a level. And from that place, I believe this decision is made. Imagine being so sure of yourself as all-encompassing, divine, unconditional love that you would even choose to be the bad, the fear energy, representative in this world, so that other spirits can experience the opposite and know themselves as a love experientially in this world. Such a loving role to play when you know you will be the bad. You will be cast out, fought against, and in life experience all of the fear yourself, because living from that place is miserable. So infinitely loving to be the stage for the battlefield of the experience of love.
It is in the act of choosing to be, rather than simply being told that you are a part of God, that you experience yourself as being at total choice, which is what, by definition, God is. Yet, how can you have a choice about something over which there is no choice? You cannot not be my offspring, no matter how hard you try. But you can forget. You are, have always been, and will always be a divine part of the divine whole, a member of the body. That is why the act of rejoining the whole, of returning to God, is called remembrance. You actually choose to remember who you really are, or to join together with the various parts of you to experience the all of you, which is to say, the all of me. Your job on earth, therefore, is not to learn, because you already know, but to remember who you are, and to remember who everyone else is. That is why a big part of your job is to remind others, that is, to remind them, so that they can remember also. All the wonderful spiritual teachers have been doing just that. It is your sole purpose. That is to say, your sole purpose.
My God, this is so simple and so symmetrical. I mean, it all fits in. It suddenly all fits. I see now a picture I've never quite put together before.
Good. That's good. That is the purpose of this dialogue. You have asked me for answers. I have promised I would give them to you. You will render my words accessible to many people. It is part of your work. Now you have many questions, many inquiries to make about life. We have here placed the foundation. We've laid the groundwork for other understandings. Let's go to the other questions, and don't worry if there is something about what we've just gone through you do not understand. It'll all become clear to you soon enough.
On the point of remembering, I want to share a story of my most recent psychedelic experience. And this may sound crazy, and I don't blame you. I'm still dumbfounded by the experience myself, and I'm very aware of the many ego traps present within what I'm about to tell you. And if I had not had this direct experience myself, I would not be telling you. I also wrote a full trip report in much more detail, and I will leave that link below in the description. So during this specific ayahuasca experience, I had an event occur that I can only call psychic surgery. I saw a mosaic of beings in red robes surgically altering the structure of my being. Then later on a mushroom, I felt my solar plexus light up, and I could physically feel the energy with my hands. I could literally touch it. I was then told by my guides that I met for the first time that I am a portal of remembering for all, here to aid in some kind of event they call the Great Remembering. Now, this event may take place either in this world or in a realm outside of time, and therefore being present not so much as an experience on Earth, but more as a function of the universe. I'm still not certain what to do with this information, but another thing I was told during the experience is that it's not something I have to do much about. It was explained to me as something I am just being automatically. But I'm curious if anyone has any experience with the concept of a great remembering or experienced psychic surgery. I've heard of one other with similar experience, and I would love to hear from anyone with more information on this specific phenomena/event. So please contact me, and I'd love to talk to you.
There's so much I want to ask. There's so many questions. Suppose I should start with the big ones, the obvious ones. Like, why is the world in the shape it's in?
Of all the questions man has asked of God, this is the one asked most often. From the beginning of time, man has asked it. From the first moment to this, you have wanted to know, why must it be like this? The classic posing of the question is usually something like, if God is all perfect and all loving, why would God create pestilence and famine, war and disease, earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes and all manner of natural disaster, deep personal disappointment and worldwide calamity? The answer to this question lies in the deeper mystery of the universe and the highest meaning of life. I do not show my goodness by creating only what you call perfection all around you. I do not demonstrate my love by not allowing you to demonstrate yours. As I've already explained, you cannot demonstrate love until you can demonstrate not loving. A thing cannot exist without its opposite, except in the world of the absolute. Yet the realm of the absolute was not sufficient for either you or me. I existed there in the always, and it is from where you too have come. In the absolute, there is no experience, only knowing. Knowing is a divine state, yet the grandest joy is in being. Being is achieved only after experience. The evolution is this: knowing, experiencing, being. This is the Holy Trinity, the triune that is God. God the Father is knowing, the parent of all understandings, the begetter of all experience, for you cannot experience that which you do not know. God the Son is experiencing, the embodiment, the acting out of all that the Father knows of itself, for you cannot be that which you have not experienced. God the Holy Spirit is being, the disembodiment of all that the Son has experienced of itself, the simple, exquisite isness possible only through the memory of the knowing and experiencing. This simple being is bliss. It is God's state after knowing and experiencing itself. It is that for which God yearned in the beginning.
Being is enough. Now, this is another thing that came to me as a mantra during my last ayahuasca experience. Being is enough. Being is enough. Being is enough. But now that I've listened to this again, I can see that being isn't just enough. It is one of the highest purposes of life. Being is grand. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Make sure to find the playlist for this series in the description below. And if you liked this content, or just simply appreciate all the hard work I put into this, you can help me by liking and subscribing so you won't miss out on any future content and more people with your interests can find this content. I wish you an amazingly bright day, week, month, year. Life, we are we, and we are one. Hamiham Brahman.